Let's be honest. How many of you have spent countless nights staring at the ceiling, your heart doing a frantic drum solo against your ribs like it's auditioning for a heavy metal band? I certainly have. For years, I chased that elusive good night's sleep. I tried everything. The warm baths, the chamomile teas that promised serenity but delivered only mild disappointment, and of course, the 4-7-8 breathing technique every influencer swears. You know the drill. None of it, not a single one, could quiet the relentless static in my head. Then, one night, out of a sheer desperation and a healthy dose of skepticism, I stumbled upon a ritual so ridiculously simple, so almost dumb, I nearly dismissed it. But I didn't, and thank goodness for that, because within 4 nights, just 4, my chest finally unclenched, those racing thoughts hit the brakes, and I actually slept straight through till morning. It felt like a miracle, but it wasn't. It was science. Stick around and I'll walk you through exactly what changed everything, why the science backs it up, and how you can copy it tonight. No fancy gadgets, no expensive supplements, and definitely no more lavender-scented anything. Unless you just really like the smell. So let's talk about the failures. Let's clear the air and talk about what doesn't work, at least not for chronic soul-crushing bedtime anxiety. I gave each of these a solid 2-week trial because if I'm anything, I'm persistent and, well, anxious in equal measure. I need to know if I was just doing it wrong or if these popular methods simply weren't cutting it for my particular brand of nocturnal brain chaos. The first one, journaling, the mind dump style. This one sounds so promising, doesn't it? The idea is to offload all your mental clutter, your worries, your to-dos, all that before bed. I filled page after page with tomorrow's grocery lists, worst-case scenarios for imaginary conversations, and an endless stream of tasks. There's actually a study from the Journal of Experimental Psychology that suggests writing down detailed to-do lists for future tasks can cut sleep onset time by a significant 37%. For me, it shaved off maybe 3 minutes. I was still staring at the ceiling, just with inky fingers and a slightly more organized list of things to fret about. The mental relief was fleeting, a temporary pause before the anxiety marathon resumed. How about guided meditation apps? Oh, the calm voices, the gentle ocean waves, the soothing chimes, the whole deal. Meta-analyses often suggest that mindfulness practices do indeed reduce nighttime rumination. My brain, however, seemed to have its own agenda. It would politely wait for the final bell chime of the meditation, ding, then immediately resume its marathon of imaginary arguments, replaying embarrassing moments and planning for every conceivable future catastrophe. It was like my mind was just taking a brief, mandatory coffee break before getting back to its regularly scheduled panic. How about nighttime yoga? Gentle forward folds, legs up the wall pose, all designed to relax the body, and by extension, the mind. And physically, it felt delicious on my hamstrings, I won't lie. But while my body was gracefully unwinding, my thoughts were still doing sun salutations without me, leaping from one worry to the next. The physical relaxation was there, but the mental quietude, not so much. These practices, while beneficial for many, just weren't hitting the core issue for me. Each of these rituals helped a little, I suppose. It was like switching from a megaphone to a loudspeaker inside my skull. A slight reduction in volume, maybe, but still a deafening roar. What I desperately wanted, what I truly craved, was silence. True, profound then. The habit that finally clicked for me is a technique often called scheduled worry, but with a crucial twist, a little hack I've never seen anyone else suggest, especially not on YouTube. Standard cognitive behavioral therapy often advises you to block off about 15 minutes in the afternoon or early evening, specifically for your worries. You write them all down. You problem solve what you can, and the idea is to keep your bedtime free of those mental intrusions. I tried that, honestly. And guess what? I still woke up at 2 a.m., mind racing. The worries just seemed to reschedule themselves for a later, less convenient slot. So, I hijacked the technique. I took the scheduled worry concept and moved it to the exact moment my head hit the pillow. And here's the truly counterintuitive part, the bit that feels a bit like fighting fire with fire, but in a good way. I set a timer for precisely 8 minutes, pulled out a tiny notepad and a little golf pencil, and then, get this, I invited every anxious thought to show up for a party. I literally wrote at the top of the page, "Hello, catastrophic thinking, doors open, come on in." And guess what? The catch is, and it's a non-negotiable one, is that each and every worry has to leave the party when the timer dings. The moment that alarm sounds, I close the notebook, fold it inside a Ziploc bag, yep, a Ziploc, because my night sweats are legendary and I don't want smudge worries, and I place it on the floor next to my bed. Lights out. That physical container, a cheap notebook plus a plastic bag, it tells my brain in no uncertain terms that the threat is quarantined. It's dealt with for now. And that, my friends, is when the magic starts. My amygdala, the brain's fear center, downshifts. Cortisol production dips and melatonin, the sleepy hormone, can finally dominate. It's like giving your brain a permission slip to relax. So why does it work? So neuroscience has a name for this, or rather a couple names: stimulus control and cognitive offloading. When you consciously assign a specific time and a physical container for your worries, your hippocampus, the memory hub in your brain, starts treating those thoughts like a checked suitcase. They're still yours, still important, but they're temporarily out of reach, stored away until you need them again. It's a brilliant little trick, and your brain falls for it. Consider this. A 2022 University of Illinois study found that people who wrote down tomorrow's tasks and then sealed them in an envelope fell asleep a remarkable 41% faster than control groups. 41% faster than control groups who merely thought about these tasks. My Ziploc hack, with its humble notebook, replicates that sense of closure, that tangible act of putting the worries away, using nothing more than household junk. It's not about solving the worries in those 8 minutes. It's about providing a designated mental parking spot for them. And why 8 minutes? It's the sweet spot. It's long enough to vent the mental steam, to get those swirling thoughts out of your head and onto paper without feeling rushed. But crucially, it's short enough to prevent rumination from regrouping, from spiraling into a full-blown anxiety attack. If the alarm fires and a fresh wave of worries tries to sneak in, I tell myself quite firmly, nope, they'll get their turn tomorrow at 10:05 p.m. That promise, that firm boundary, tricks the brain into releasing its vigilance, because certainty, any certainty, even certainty about when you'll worry, lowers threat detection. It tells your ancient, wired for survival brain that everything is under control, at least for tonight. So here's my 4-step cheat sheet. You can absolutely steal this verbatim. There's no copyright on sanity, thank goodness. This isn't rocket science, but it is effective. Number 1, keep your tools sacred. That means a golf pencil and a small 3x5 pad, or whatever tiny notebook you prefer, only on your nightstand. Nowhere else. This is crucial because your brain needs to link that specific spot and those specific objects to worry time. It's about creating a strong, consistent ritual cue. 2, set your timer. When you slip under the covers, hit an 8-minute timer on your phone. But listen, blue light off, brightness dim to 0. We're not trying to stimulate your brain, we're giving it a specific window to vent. Number 3, unleash the headlines. Write every single anxious headline, every nagging thought, every irrational fear that pops into your head. No censoring, no fixing, no editing for grammar or logic. Just dump it all out. Did I lock the back door? What if that email was misinterpreted? Will pigeons judge my balcony decor? Yep, that was a real one for me. Just get it down. And number 4, seal and release. When that chime sounds, snap the notebook shut. Bag it, drop it, no reopening. If you're tempted, picture locking a hotel safe. The code is tomorrow night. The worries are secure, out of sight and out of mind until their next scheduled appearance. This physical act of closure is surprisingly powerful. Let's look at the proof. I know what you're thinking. Sounds too good to be true. I get it. I was a skeptic too. Night 1, I still needed about 25 minutes to conk out. Progress, but not revolutionary. Night 2, 12 minutes. By night 4, I woke up to sunlight streaming through my window and my alarm going, "Good morning," like some rude but surprisingly welcome stranger. It was glorious. After just 2 weeks, my Oura Ring, which tracks sleep meticulously, showed a consistent 1 hour 48 minutes of deep sleep. That's triple my average from the previous year. And here's the clincher. The real data point that sealed the deal for me, my daytime anxiety dropped a significant 38% on the GAD-7 scale. It's a free, widely recognized online questionnaire for generalized anxiety. I didn't change my medications, my diet, or my caffeine intake. The only thing I changed was where and when my brain was allowed to scream. It was a game changer. So look, if you decide to test drive this, and I genuinely hope you do, please comment below with the weirdest worry you managed to evict. Mine last night, as I mentioned, was genuinely, will pigeons judge my balcony decor? No judgment here. Also, if you want deeper dives into CBT tricks that don't require a PhD or a lifetime of therapy, I've got a whole playlist linked right here on beating nighttime rumination without drugs. Binge away, my friend. So, finally, as with any effective technique, there's a few common pitfalls that you can derail your progress with. Let's make sure you avoid them. First, don't extend the timer. Seriously. 8 minutes is the sweet spot for a reason. More time equals more opportunity to spiral, to overthink, to start problem solving instead of just dumping. If 8 minutes feels too tight initially, try 6 and slowly work your way up. The goal isn't to solve your problems, but to contain them. Second pitfall, using your phone's note app. While convenient, typing keeps your visual cortex buzzing with the blue light and the act of scrolling. Handwriting, on the other hand, activates different neural circuits that integrate emotion and motor control, making the act of offloading feel more complete and therapeutic. It's a more tactile, primal release, so stick with the pencil and paper. And finally, but certainly not the least thing to worry about, is skipping nights. Your brain, bless its predictable little heart, absolutely loves ritual and predictability. Missing even one session can invite the entire worry posse back to camp at 3 a.m., demanding attention. Be consistent. This isn't a quick fix. It's a retraining of your brain. Treat it like a non-negotiable appointment with your mental peace. The more consistently you practice, the faster your brain learns this new, healthier pattern. Scheduled worry is powerful enough on its own, but you can absolutely stack it with a few mild science-backed props to amplify its effects. Think of it as adding a little turbo boost to your tranquility. For instance, I sometimes add a 90-second cold face splash right before my worry writing session. It might sound jarring, but there's a reason. This triggers what's called the mammalian dive reflex. I can't even say the word here, which nudges your vagus nerve into action and speeds up parasympathetic takeover. What does it mean? It means your body rapidly shifts from fight or flight to rest and digest. A 2021 study in physiology and behavior actually showed that facial cooling cut heart rate by 12 beats per minute in anxious adults. Pair that with quick physiological reset with our scheduled worry habit, and you've got yourself a tranquilizer-free knockout combo for bedtime anxiety. It's about leveraging your body's natural mechanisms to calm itself. You could also consider a short gratitude journaling practice earlier in the evening. Writing down 3 specific things you're grateful for each day can calm the nervous system by activating the parasympathetic response and lowering cortisol, which can improve sleep quality. This sets a positive emotional tone even before you tackle the worries. Let's talk about personalizing the container. Now, I use a Ziploc bag for my worries, and let's be real, a Ziploc bag looks pretty boring. So I decorated mine with a Sharpie moon. It's a small touch, but it makes it mine. I've seen viewers on Instagram get really creative. Some replace the Ziploc with a tiny lockbox. Others use a cookie tin, and one person even hollowed out an old book. The form doesn't actually matter. What matters is the symbolic transfer of ownership. You're physically putting your worries into something and then putting that something away. Pick something that you can close, stash, and forget about until tomorrow night. It's the ritual, not the aesthetic, that holds the power. Now, sometimes you might have to seek extra help. So while this technique is incredibly effective for many, it's vital to know when to bring in the pros. If after a month of consistent practice, your GAD-7 score remains stubbornly above moderate, or if you find yourself dozing off during important meetings, that's your cue. Loop in a therapist. Specifically, look for CBTI, Cognitive Behavioral Therapy for Insomnia specialists. They can tweak the timing, add other proven techniques like progressive muscle relaxation, or help address underlying trauma or more severe anxiety that a notepad alone simply can't exile. This method is a powerful tool, but it's not a substitute for professional mental health care when it's truly needed. Okay, I'm challenging you. Try this for 7 nights, just 7, and then DM me your morning after numbers, how long it took you to crash out. I read every single message, and I'm ridiculously nosy about data. While you're at it, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss next week's video on the 40-second eye movement trick that literally erases racing thoughts when you're stuck on a red-eye flight. You won't want to miss it. Anxiety is a masterful manipulator. It wants you to believe that catastrophes only happen at midnight when you're alone in the dark, but you know better now. Give it a scheduled seat, a humble pencil, and precisely 8 minutes of your time. Then close the book, literally. Do that consistently, and your brain will begin to learn that worries are merely guests in your mind, not permanent residents. Tonight, when the lights go off, you can finally hear the sound you've been missing for so long.